Alright, here's how to play Charge Blade in less than 5 minutes, and this is pretty much impossible to do, but I'm going to try it anyway. Alright, so with Charge Blade, you just want to make sure the symbols in the top left are always glowing. So to do that, you have to start in Sword and Shield mode. The fastest way to get your shield glowing is to do this. You hold that button, do a charge double slash, you do it again. That takes you up to red files. Red files means that when I charge my shield like this, it's going to fill 5 files. Now, actually, in this game, you can hold up to 10 files compared to the previous games where you can hold 5 files. So let's see if I can charge it to 10 files here. And another one. So we're on red, that's going to give me another 5 files, so let's charge. And that's what it looks like. Okay, the files are loaded, but they're not loaded into my shield because my shield's not glowing. So let's charge the shield. Now, there's a baby way to do it, and there's a Chad way to do it. The Chad way to do it, and I recommend you try to do the Chad way, which is the old way, because it actually does damage. All right, the Chad way to do it is do this combo. It's weak slash, shield thrust, SAD cancel into elemental round slash. And you can see on the top left, my shield is glowing now. Now, that's good. Now, the reason you want to do that is because now my guard is stronger and my axe attacks do more damage. So always charge the shield. How do I charge the sword? Okay, well, you can only charge the sword if your shield is charged, because how you do it is you do a charge animation and then hold the Y button until you get that pop. And then now my sword is charged. You can see in the top left icon as well as on the hunter, everything's all glowing, and that's good. And the benefit of charging your sword is you don't bounce. It does extra damage on those extra file hit ticks you can see right there. The last icon there is Savage Axe. We're going to save that for later because you actually need to do a counter on the monster in order to charge your Savage Axe. But these are the main two pieces you need to charge. You need to charge your sword and you need to charge your shield. The first thing you got to understand about Charge Blade is this thing called guard points. And Capcom is too scared to actually call them guard points, but the community calls them guard points. A guard point means any attack animation that I have when I hold the shield out in front, that means I'm already guarding automatically. Any attack that looks like this round slash here, that round slash is a guard point. Shield front, guard point. And guard point is extremely powerful because it basically cancels the recovery on my attack animation and protects my butt. It's a form of insurance against monster attacks that activates very quickly after I finish my attack. Whereas a lot of weapons have to go into recovery and they're vulnerable. That doesn't apply to Charge Blade because of the guard point. The baby way to charge your shield is to just hold the charge button and you go into that elemental boost animation. That's actually a guard point too at the end of this animation. Alright, so sword combos. So weak slash, return, round slash. If you hold the B button, do charge double slash into round slash. That one's good. Charge double slash is your fastest way to actually charge your files. So if you need to get to red files quickly, remember, use charge double slash. Press Y and B together, do forward slash. You can go into return stroke and round slash and continue from there. Good for closing the distance. After any sword attack, you can do something called a fade slash. Just press control stick and B and it goes into a round slash. And if you notice there, because I'm doing that round slash animation, I have that guard point after the fade slash. And you can do fade slash from every single direction. Alright, there's one more special move that you can do in Sword and Shield mode, and that's called the shield thrust. You can only do the shield thrust after you do a sword move, like so. It helps me keep the combo going, right? Because if I do this round slash here, I can't really do anything out of it. But if I do a shield thrust, I can basically reset my combo. And just keep going. Now, because Charge Blade has a guard point and you can do these infinite combos over and over, you kind of want to keep attacking with Charge Blade. Your defense is very strong in Sword and Shield mode. Notice with that infinite combo, like I keep moving forward, right? But we already covered a move that can compensate for that. That's the fade slash. Right? If I get too far, I can just fade slash back and adjust. The monster moves a little bit, I can fade slash this way. If I'm being blocked by the monster and I just want to keep the combo going, I use shield thrust. If I need a gap close, advancing, going through the combo, get my spinning slashes, shield thrust, keep it going. You just keep it going. That's the whole thing with Charge Blade. Alright, sword attacks are actually pretty good, but the biggest damage actually comes from your axe. To manually transform to axe, you press right trigger and Y. That's actually a guard point here at the beginning of this morph slash here. See how I stuck the shield out in front there? Additionally, I can go into axe mode by doing a charge and pressing B, and that'll do the first attack in the axe combo. So in axe mode, I can do the basic elemental discharge combo that will spend files. So that's ED1, that's ED2, and then I'll go into amped elemental discharge, which is a pretty strong attack. So that's a kind of a 3-hit B combo. It's very slow. You probably won't be able to get off all 3 hits. And all of those attacks spend files in the top left. But you can use Y attacks instead to actually attack and not spend files. And in my opinion, these attacks are very situational, like if you need to hit high above, or close the distance, or create distance. So you're really going to focus mainly on the B attacks instead, which are these ones. Because you want to spend files and do more damage. You can also directly go into amped elemental discharge by pressing the 2 attack buttons at the same time. And you can also cancel the amped elemental discharge to the round slash and charge your shield if you have files. Now, the most iconic move of Charge Blade is the super amped elemental discharge. And in this game, you actually can't just do it. You actually need a charge shield to do super amped elemental discharge. Additionally, you can't just do it out of neutral when you're in axe mode. You can only do a super amped elemental discharge after a amped elemental discharge first. And there's also some shortcuts from perfect guards as well. But if you just want, the fastest way to get into super amped elemental discharge is to do amped elemental discharge, and then press Y and B to get it, do super amped elemental discharge as well. Do a follow-up after AED, and then go into super amped elemental discharge. If you have a hard time aiming your amped elemental discharge and super amped elemental discharge, you can actually use the focus mode to aim it a little bit better. See how much I can aim it? I can literally do almost a 180 with that aiming. Even SAD. How much I can turn with that. After a super amped elemental discharge, you will go back into sword and shield mode. While in axe mode, just press R2 again to do a morph slash back into sword and shield mode. And this has a guard point. You look morph, guard point. So how do you actually play Charge Blade? Like I said earlier, you always keep your pieces charged. You build up files in sword and shield mode. You know, charge everything. Get into axe mode and spend your files. In my opinion, because it's so easy to charge your files in this game, you want to try and use as many super amped elemental discharges as possible, because that attack drains all your files and explodes them all on the enemy. Look at my files, they're all gone now. And then you turn into sword and shield mode to go back to charging your files so you can recharge your shield. At the very least, you never want to be fighting without a charged shield. You can kind of get away with not having a charged sword, but honestly, in terms of damage and not balancing and the amount of utility that charged sword brings, I would try to keep my sword charged as well. Another thing too is you can just guard as well with R2. You don't always have to use guard points. You're supposed to use guard points in conjunction with just regular guarding to increase the amount of total time spent guarding. Again, you don't always have to have the monster's attack hit your guard point. They can just hit your guard as well. Remember, I can do super ADs out of perfect guards as well. Now, the last icon we didn't talk about is the Power Axe mode, which in previous games was called Savage Axe mode. And to do that, you get a perfect guard and you press Y, or you break a wound with the focus slash here and press Y. So let's demonstrate that now. Savage Axe slash, so you can see my Savage Axe is activated. So I can do focus slash double run to also activate my Savage Axe mode. So the thing about Power Axe mode or Savage Axe mode is that when you hold the attack button for axe attacks, it'll do a lot more extra hits.